Hey folks, Crazy Climber 80 here again, and we're going to start looking at some of the Century Video System games, CVS, by the British company Century. This is Heart Attack, created in 1983 by Century, and it's a maze game, strategy game.
System operational.
And that's typical voice sample that you hear at the very beginning of during the boot up screen. But this game does not actually involve cardiac arrest. I guess it's supposed to be like the almost heart attack that you get from the action going on in the game or some crap like that. But your goal is to fill the maze with dots. You leave a trail of dots. There is one maze where you have to eat dots, but for the most part, you leave a trail of dots. And there are enemies that chase you around the screen. You have two ways of dissuading their efforts, keeping them from chasing you. One is to leave a blockade, a little block, and you can go back and pick it up, hopefully before it disappears. And that way you keep it. Otherwise, you have a limited supply of them. And when the enemies run into that block, they have to turn around. But the other method is to freeze the enemies for 5 seconds. And for each maze, you get 2 opportunities to do that. And on some mazes, it's very, very, very helpful to do. Well, it's always helpful to do, but you really only want to do it a couple times. There's the plug, is what I was talking about for the first method to turn away the enemies. And there's the freeze. The enemies that follow you are called the chasers. And the freeze stuns them for 5 seconds. Here is the first maze. This game is not very good. But I mean, if you like puzzle or strategy type of games, then you might give this one a shot. See, there's only one chaser right now, so beating this level is really easy. But you just have to fill the maze with dots. That's your usual objective, and later on we'll see the one level where you have to eat dots, and they're strategically placed in a really difficult labyrinth to maneuver. Just have to watch for which direction the guy's coming, then move along and finish off the maze. There will be some mazes where you don't have to fill all of it in. You can just stay alive long enough. Yeah, this game is also known as Maze Zing, I guess. Really stupid pun. But that's the goal on almost every level. Fill the whole maze in with dots. And again, you get 2 freezes for each maze, and they get refilled once you complete a maze. See, it says freeze 2 at the bottom. And then those 2 dots indicate the number of plugs you can use. Plugs don't seem to help that often, really. I mean, if you're gonna use one at an intersection so that the enemy gets blocked multiple ways and has to take a long way around to get to you. All the levels repeat at one point or another. Oops. I never saw this arcade game before. Century released a number of arcade games for the CVS, which was a cabinet where you could just put in any CVS game, just interchange them out in the same cabinet. the most famous one. I don't know if Hunchback was for the CVS or if it had its own dedicated cabinet. But if it was for the CVS, and actually I think it was, there I put in a plug. This is the survival wave. There I used one of my freezes. You'll need to use them both, really. It's hard to get away from that fast chaser. And there's a creepy counter that counts down the time. But if Hunchback was for the CVS cabinet, then it was Century's most famous game. I'd seen DAZZLER in a number of arcades, Radar Zone in a few of them, but Hunchback was their best game. I beat that one. Now, sometimes you'll get a really short maze, and it's really hard if you have multiple enemies in a very short maze, or a small maze. Once you've run out of lives, you have a chance to compete in a bonus game, and I've played it numerous times, and I have never been able to win it. If you win it, you get an extra chance. You get to continue right there. You always actually get to continue. You can use, you can just put in another credit. But I have never been able to beat that bonus game. Yikes. Again, you get two freezes. If you need to use them, use them. They're much more effective than the plugs in shaking your adversaries. Whoa. And now here is the level where you have to eat the dots, and notice that it is a really difficult labyrinth to have to maneuver through. But you don't have, there aren't dots everywhere, just in certain places. But you'll need to consume them all before the timer runs out, and you are timed. If you run out of time, you are dead. And these dot trails lead to dead ends. Dead ends. Or half of them do at least. Yeah, plug is not all that great. I mean, the enemy will run into it and then turn the other way. And if you want to keep that plug, you have to go back and pick it up. Otherwise, you have a set amount as shown at the bottom, just 2. Now we're back to creating a trail. Ah, crap. Don't forget which direction the enemy was moving if you're going to park behind him after freezing him. Because you might go, oh crap, they were going this way, and then they turn around and kill you. There's another survival stage. Just watch out for that fast-moving tracer. And make sure you use both of your freezes. They last for 5 seconds apiece. The timer itself lasts longer on this level now. It's a later survival stage.
9.
That same creepy countdown voice was used in Radar Zone,
6.
which was an Amador ripoff.
5. 4.
You don't have
3.
nearly enough time to paint the whole
2.
maze. So you just need to
1.
stay alive long enough.
0.
Whoa! I just made it. Now we've got 2 chasers in this little tiny maze, so it gets really tough. And you get an extra life every 100,000 points, if you can make it that far. This game makes me think, the game's title makes me think of not a cardiac arrest, woo, but there was a song by Olivia Newton-John released just a year prior to this game in 1982 called Heart Attack. I was really in love with Olivia Newton-John. I would still love to go back in time to have a three-way with her and maybe Linda Carter. I would be alright with that. At any rate, yeah, this game is not all that great unless you're a big fan of strategy games and don't mind wasting your time playing something like this. But really, it's not all that special. Most of the CVS games were garbage. I used to kinda enjoy DAZZLER when I was a kid. Many of the games have their technical flaws, and the controls are garbage. You'll easily overshoot a turn that you wanted to swear you turned into, and the game doesn't let you. This maze is kind of cool. I like the way it's set up. Makes you really think of how you're gonna get out of there safely. There's multiple ways through each wing. Kind of cool. But don't forget you have the freezes, and be prepared to use them when you need to. Use one right now. And whoops. Did I leave a little piece off there that I needed to go back and get? Probably. Oh crap. Yeah, I think that was a turn I didn't want to make, but I did. But yeah, I know this existed in, pretty sure this existed in American arcades. Maybe it was just, no, I think it was American arcades. Century is a British company. But I think most of their games appeared in the US. Well, their most famous were HUNCHBACK, DAZZLER, probably Video 8-Ball. Or maybe it was called 8-Ball Action, or I think it has two different names. But I saw DAZZLER a number of places back in the day. Oh crap. Got a little too close. There'll be, if you hit the freeze button just before you run up to an enemy, you're not gonna get it off in time. They're gonna get you, which sucks. So make sure you got enough separation. Hope you enjoyed your weekend, and hope you enjoyed football or whatever you do on Sundays. The sound effects in this game really wear thin after a while. They're pretty annoying. The boops and beeps and hums and whatever. I could definitely do without them. Just in case that guy was going to try to come after me. It can be easy to lose sight of where that last little bit you needed to get was. Now I got a very fast tracer on this maze. The maze layouts repeat after a while, and then they add new tracers, put in fast tracers, whatever. Get away from me. There's the... whatever it was. I forget what the name of that thing was. Crap, he's gonna get me. Yep. Kind of dumb name, Heart Attack, for this game. But again, it reminds me of the Olivia Newton-John song, Heart Attack. I didn't think the song was that great, but right around the same time, she had that song Physical that was #1 for like 10 weeks or something like that. So she definitely had her huge hits. Oh crap, I was not careful there. But here is this bonus game that I was talking about. It's really stupid. You have to hit a button, I guess. Well, after I put in my initials. You have to hit a button, I guess, and then you try to uncover boxes and hope that one of them, it has like a some red box inside it or something, and then you'll get an extra chance. But I never got it to work. And sometimes you get to open 4 boxes and sometimes 6 boxes.
5.
I don't know why.
3.
I'm not going to continue.
1. 0.
The amazing Heart Attack. Really stupid pun. But I think that this was also called Amazing or something, not just Heart Attack. I don't know for sure, but not a great game. But there weren't many good ones from Century or CVS. Well, that was Heart Attack by Century in 1983 for the CVS. This is Crazy Climber 88 saying thanks for watching Heart Attack by Century in 1983. I'll catch you later with another video. See you, folks. Bye-bye.